The valley of Elah is a throat choked with dust. Visibility is low, yet every eye is fixed on the center of the field. The giant stands there, a monolith of raw power, his presence distorting the very air around him under a bruised, stormy sky. He takes a breath, expanding his chest, and lets out a roar that tears through the silence. It is not just a sound, it is a physical force that vibrates in the rib cages of the men huddled on the ridge. The Israelite soldiers press themselves into the dirt, their knuckles white as they grip their spears. Hands tremble uncontrollably. No one moves forward. No one speaks. The weight of the giant's dominance hangs over the ridge, pressing down like heavy air. They watch him pace, his heavy footsteps thudding against the earth, each impact a reminder of their own fragility. The giant stops, scans the line of men, and lets out a low, guttural growl that echoes off the canyon walls. A figure detaches from the huddled line. David walks onto the open ground, his stride steady, cutting through the stagnant dust. He carries only a wooden staff in one hand and a leather strap hanging from his belt. The soldiers on the ridge stop breathing. They watch the shepherd cross the distance, his pace unhurried, his head held level. Goliath stops his pacing. He turns, his massive frame blocking the light, and stares down at the small man approaching him. A laugh erupts from the giant, a booming, guttural sound that rolls across the valley floor like thunder. He hefts his spear, the tip catching the dim light, and mocks the shepherd with a wave of his hand. David does not stop. He reaches the 20-pace mark and halts. The giant's laughter dies out, replaced by a confused, jagged silence. David ignores the taunts. He reaches into a pouch at his side, pulls out a smooth, round stone, and fits it into the leather strap. He tests the weight of the sling, his fingers moving with precision. Goliath moves. The earth reacts first, a deep, rhythmic shuddering that travels through the soles of David's feet. The giant lunges forward, his massive frame eating up the distance in long, thunderous strides. Each step kicks up a cloud of dry soil, obscuring the horizon. David does not retreat. He plants his feet wide, digging his heels into the hard-packed ground. He raises the sling above his head and begins to rotate it. At first, the movement is slow, a rhythmic arc through the air. Then, he increases the tempo. The leather strap begins to whistle, a sharp, piercing sound that cuts through the roar of the giant's approach. The wind whips his hair back, but his gaze remains locked on the target. He spins the sling faster, the leather blurring into a circle of pure kinetic energy. The giant is closing in, his shadow falling over David, but the shepherd does not flinch. The whistling of the sling rises in pitch. The giant raises his shield, his momentum unchecked. The distance between them vanishes. They are seconds away from the final impact. David snaps his wrist. The leather strap releases. The stone leaves the sling, a gray blur cutting through the golden light that breaks through the storm clouds. It travels with impossible speed, a straight line drawn through the dust-choked air. Goliath is mid-stride, his shield rising, but he is too slow. The stone strikes him square in the forehead with a sharp, sickening crack that echoes against the valley walls. The giant stops instantly. His momentum vanishes. He stands frozen for a heartbeat, his massive spear slipping from his fingers to clatter against the rocks. His eyes roll back, losing focus. He sways, a mountain losing its foundation, then pitches forward. He crashes into the dry earth, a heavy, deafening thud that sends a final cloud of dust billowing into the air. The giant lies motionless, face first in the dirt. The ground stops shaking. The roar of the charge is replaced by a sudden, hollow silence that stretches across the valley floor. David stands his ground, his hand still raised, his chest heaving with the effort of the release. He does not move. He watches the fallen titan, the dust settling slowly around the still form. The air is thick with the smell of disturbed earth and the sudden, absolute stillness of the aftermath. A profound silence descends upon the valley of Elah. The Israelite soldiers on the ridge drop their spears, their hands going slack, eyes fixed on the scene below. No one speaks. The air itself seems to hold its breath. High above, the bruised storm clouds tear open. A single, brilliant shaft of golden light pierces the gloom, cutting through the lingering dust to illuminate the shepherd standing alone in the center of the clearing. The harsh, metallic tension that gripped the ridge evaporates, replaced by a heavy, undeniable sense of awe. David remains motionless, his hands still extended, the sling hanging loose. He is the only point of focus in the vast, quiet expanse. The fate of the valley is sealed. The struggle has ended, leaving only the stillness of the earth and the light of a new order.